All right, here we are over a beer, episode 9. Mark was in town, so I had him come jump on an episode.
Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. He brought a solid beer from Connecticut, so I'll just start by introducing there. Really looking forward to it, honestly. It's called Naughty Nurse. That's the brewer. It's their IPA. City Steam Brewery is where this is brewed in Connecticut. What area in Connecticut?
Right in downtown Hartford, the heart of Connecticut, as you say.
Mark's old hometown, so that's exciting. So this one's a 6% alcohol by volume. They come in pints. No IBU listed on this either, so this is the second beer. Treehouse last week didn't have theirs on their can either, so I'll be curious to see just how bitter it may be. But why don't we start there so we can kind of dive into a conversation. We'll just do our first thoughts on the beer, and then we'll go from there. So,
right.
So cheers. Thanks for bringing this over. Ooh, that's really good.
It's really smooth.
It's
has a little bit of bitterness, but it's pretty smooth overall, though.
Doesn't it kind of have a sweetness too?
Yeah, it kind of does, actually.
It starts off bitter. You get like a hoppy flavor in the middle, kind of like an earthiness.
Yeah.
And then it's got like a sweet aftertone. So.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel a little naughty, as the name persists.
I could get naughty off of a 4-pack of these, especially when I'm not drinking much right now. So, no, this is cool. Well, I'm excited. We'll sip this throughout. We'll kind of check it out at the end. Got a packed day here today. Obviously, we did a little NBA last week, but we want to dive into a few arguments we've had over time.
Yep.
Little Celtics talk. We'll just chat about the landscape of the NBA really quickly. Now we're a few games in. I think the Celtics are right where we want to be.
Yeah, I think so. They had a good game yesterday, so
yeah,
absolutely.
Little growing pains. Obviously, Kemba getting acclimated, but the younger guys are starting to look good.
Yes.
JT's probably the man at this point.
Yeah, and Kemba had a great fourth quarter, so
Yep.
I think there's some signs for optimism that he had a rough 7 quarters to start the year.
Yeah.
But I think hopefully this will be the turning point in his career or within the Celtics, and then hopefully he can go forward with that, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then obviously Gordon Hayward, he's super consistent. He's just efficient from the floor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's been doing the last few years, so he fits in nice. I'm curious to see the bench, what they're going to be able to produce this year.
Right.
I don't know. They're either hit or miss. Like, we have some talent there, but it's not loaded, in my opinion.
I mean, I like the Williams, the rookie Williams.
Yep.
What's his first name?
Greg? Not Greg. Grant. There we go. I knew it was a G. Thank you. We'll get there eventually.
If this is wrong, we'll edit it afterwards.
I'm a good editor. We got Williams, the kid, like you had said. I'll be curious to see getting more out of, obviously, Smart's minutes. He looks nice off the bench again. That's dangerous.
Weird hair.
Yeah, he's got some very weird. I don't even know what's going on there. Our big, the dude from Portland, he's not playing too much yet.
Cantor?
Yeah, Cantor.
Yeah, no, he hasn't played too much, actually. Robert Williams has played quite a bit, too.
Yeah.
He's looked really good.
I thought Cantor would have more of a role right off the bat, but
I thought so, too.
yeah, maybe it's because he's defensively liable.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. And obviously Philly has Embiid, and then Toronto, their bigs are pretty dominant down low, too.
Yeah, it's probably Brad Stevens has a specific system, so if Cantor isn't buying into that system yet, then maybe it's one of those cases where he has to get some time to get acclimated to it.
Yeah.
Maybe down the road he could get better.
Yeah, so we're 1-1 after 2 games. I mean, the league's kind of unfolding similar. A lot of the big name teams are doing well. Denver's 2-0. Lakers are 1-1.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on LeBron in an LA jersey?
So, for those of you who know, I've always been a big LeBron fan. But ever since he went to LA, I mean, I think once he went to LA, it kind of, I don't know, you could tell that it wasn't for basketball.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of like turned me off in that kind of sense because he just didn't make a basketball decision. It was more like he wants to go to LA. And like you could see after the first game, after they lost to their hometown rival Clippers, he posted on Instagram, "Oh, thanks for everyone coming out and like all cheer and all like happy and everything." Like whereas Michael Jordan would have never done that
after a loss.
Yeah,
no.
like he just lost sight of winning. It seems like, and I don't know if he'll get it back or not, or if he just full on with Hollywood now. But
and basically kind of dick riding Bronny, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I think his legacy's set. He's got a few rings at this point. He's thinking he probably won't get 7, so why not set himself up for after basketball?
Yeah, he's got to copyright that Taco Tuesday because he's the first to come up with it.
Never heard that before LeBron. So that's kind of, I guess, going to be an interesting experiment there. The Rockets, I'm curious to see a little bit more from Harden and Westbrook together, but they've looked pretty nice out the gate.
They look pretty good. I mean, I think I'm curious how long it's going to take for them to get to that peak level, but I think they have the tools to at least be competitive and stuff.
I think they could be a Western Conference contender.
Oh yeah, well that's the beauty about the NBA this year is that you don't have that like 3 all-star team that's going to sweep through the NBA. Every team basically has 2 good all-stars, and I think that it's literally anyone's game once the playoffs hit, and I think this playoff is going to be
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be the most fun playoff we've seen in a long time.
I'm kind of upset that Durant's obviously out for the year. That would have shaken things up in the East too.
Right.
Philly looks right. I mean, Al Horford fits in there beautifully.
It was weird seeing him ring the bell for Philly.
He looks awkward. He's just a big, he looks like Land Before Time. I think we've talked about this. And just ringing a bell, like there weren't no bells when dinosaurs were around.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What is he doing?
Yeah, it's not even realistic.
Yeah, I don't get that. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess so the landscape will be interesting, a little foreshadowing. So we've always kind of had an ongoing Celtics debate. The date was June 28, 2013. That was when my heart was originally broken, short term. Paul Pierce, KG. Jason Terry even traded to the Nets. Gerald Wallace era was just beginning in Boston, and a plethora, humps, and a plethora of picks. So we've kind of discussed, obviously Danny Ainge did it right, bringing the big 3 together back in the day. We got our ring. We were contenders in 3 or 4 years back to back, and then so since then, how have we graded Danny's experience, his performance? I've always been a supporter of Ainge and his moves. I think you've been a little bit more hesitant.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I guess what would be your grade if you're looking at Danny Ainge since 2013?
I would honestly give Danny Ainge a C. Since right after the trade. So I want to preface this, the trade itself, the best trade of all time, most lopsided trade. So I'll give him all the credit in the world for that. But I think since then, it's been an average time for him. I don't think he's done anything. I mean, he brought in an Al Horford, which was actually huge for Boston because before that, there was some sort of stigma for some reason.
Free agents.
No one wanted to go free agency to Boston and everything. So that was huge. Kind of eliminated that stigma a little bit. But at the same time, I don't think he did anything. When I think of all the assets that we had, and we could have it seemed like every single player that was on the trading block, we had our hand in the pot at some point.
Right.
You think of Anthony Davis, you think of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Jimmy Butler even. We were in all those guys, and we ended up not pulling the trigger. And because of that, I think it seemed like Danny Ainge kind of wanted the best of both worlds, where he wanted all young talent and win now as well. So he wanted to win now and build for the future.
Yes.
And it's seems like it's kind of caught in the middle. Right now we're a good team and playoff contending team, but we're not the by and large favorites like we could have been if we picked up an Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard, for example.
No, I agree. And it's almost like trying to be in the gym, you're trying to put on muscle and lose weight at the same time. Sometimes it just slows down both processes. But it is a process, so that's where I'll come in. We'll preface this by saying Mark was a LeBron James fan back in 2013. Would he have still been with Miami, or would he have been transitioning back to Cleveland at that point? I'm trying to remember where he was in his career.
By that time, I was a Cleveland fan.
You were a Cleveland fan, okay.
Maybe not, though.
It would be kind of close.
Yeah, it was close, though. Yeah.
So I don't think he's very credible. He was living in either South Beach or crappy Ohio. So I'm not listening to that shit. So pardon my language, Mr. McGregor, if you watch. But yeah, no, I mean, I think Danny's done a lot of great stuff since. I would give him a B+. So I don't think he, by any means, there were some potential moves on the trading block that would have been nice if they happened. But at the same time, looking at where we are today, we got Tatum, we got Brown, we got Gordon Hayward coming back and being healthy. We just picked up Kemba. That's nice, 1 through 4. Would you have rather had Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis this year? I mean, Kyrie wouldn't be playing right now technically, but I'm sure you'd say yes. But with that being said, I mean, we're setting ourselves up for the future. We picked up Kyrie because of, obviously, that trade. So Danny then moved that, what was it, number 1 overall?
Yeah.
didn't end up doing anything because Cleveland sucked in the draft.
It wasn't number 1 overall.
Number 4 or 7?
I think it turned into Colin Sexton, I think it was.
Yeah, who's he?
Yeah.
Never heard of him. So yeah, I mean, we basically acquired Kyrie because of that. Obviously, IT hasn't even really played a minute since. I mean, he has, but I haven't heard his name in 3 years. So that was nice. That was a good trade. We brought Kyrie here. He was obviously a little injury plagued, so you really can't blame them. Then the Gordon Hayward signing comes after Al Horford. We're supposed to be championship contenders. Game 1, Gordon Hayward's done for the year. His ankle's gone. I think there's just been a lot of misfortune. I don't think you can say as much has been Danny Ainge's fault. He's setting us up for success, but there's been a ton of misfortune in there.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think of it, when I was thinking of an analogy for this, I would think of, I would compare the Celtics season, or the Celtics past 6 years, to kind of like Game of Thrones, which I know you're not a big Game of Thrones guy, which is ridiculous to me that you've never watched Game of Thrones, being
LeBron fan
as you are.
Yeah.
And by the way, being a LeBron fan, I think this qualifies me even more because I don't have that hometown bias like all the other Celtics fans.
Boy.
And I am a Celtics fan now because I don't like LeBron.
He's back on the bandwagon. Because the Lakers
I never
suck.
really left. I had like 1 foot out.
Okay. Well,
anyways.
So Game of Thrones.
So yeah, I think it compares to Game of Thrones because I think the draw of Game of Thrones, especially seasons 1 through 5, was there were so many possibilities where the show literally could go in a whole bunch of different ways. So fans were loving trying to come up with different random fan theories.
Yep.
Some of them were way out there, but everyone had fun trying to think of how it was going to end. And then it finally came to the end, and you're like, that's really how it ended? And it's
that's
the end? And so that's kind of how I view the Celtics. Like, you see, like I was saying before, you had all these players who are on the trade block that we could have got, like a Paul George, who got traded for next to nothing. We could have got Anthony Davis.
LeBron even rumors were mixed in there at one point.
Or Kevin Durant. We had all these possibilities. World was our oyster. And we could have easily been championship contenders, championship favorites, and we end up with a team that's still good. I'd say it's definitely playoff contender, but I wouldn't say it's exactly how it could have been where we would have been a number 1 championship team.
Would you take 1 year this year as a championship contender with Kyrie and Anthony Davis, or would you now, Brown's just re-signed his rookie extension. I think Jason Tatum's going to do the same thing. You're going to have Kemba for another 3 years. You have 3+ years with that bunch. I mean, if Gordon Hayward, obviously he's not going to opt out. That'd be ridiculous.
Right.
But once his contract's off the books, you can bring in another name. I mean, it wouldn't be a max deal, but you could bring in a really solid asset. So you get 3 to 4 years with that group, or you get 1 year with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. What are you doing today?
If it was guaranteed to win a championship.
Which it wasn't.
It wasn't, but, well, okay.
Look at the landscape of the league.
I will phrase it this way. If we made the Anthony Davis trade 2 years ago maybe, or got Kawhi Leonard when he was on the trading block, if we had 3 of those guys and we ended up winning 1 or 2 championships, I would take that personally over, and then losing those guys after like maybe 2 years over us possibly maybe Jason Tatum being an all-star, maybe Jaylen Brown being an all-star, maybe Gordon Hayward getting back to his old form. There's a lot of ifs.
I mean, so you're talking Gordon Hayward. That would have been, your trade would have happened before that happened. So that kind of negates that. Anthony Davis, the real rumor was before this season, it would have been a 1-year thing. Kawhi Leonard would have been coming off an injury. So before he went to Toronto and basically single-handedly won them the championship, there was no certainty there. He could come back, or he could be a Paul George, or he could be any other guy that's ever had that same injury. So that's where I was going. So Kawhi was uncertain. So, I mean, you're really going to risk 5 years of future for a 1-year rental with Kawhi? Because it would have only been 1 year still after that San Antonio move. Anthony Davis, the rumor came out this past season, so we could have got him at the break realistically and then had him for the end of the year and this year. But that also wasn't even guaranteeing Kyrie comes back. Because Kyrie and KD have always kind of had that lowball plan, I think, to end up, whether it was Brooklyn or New York. I think if New York gets the first pick, they both go to New York without a doubt.
I would agree with that too.
So I don't know. There was a lot of uncertainties with making the deals, and I think Danny, he actually took the stance of rebuilding. You know what I mean? Like, I think he said, I'm going to trust these young guys. I think JT is definitely an all-star this year. He's shooting the ball a ton, but he's going to get his 25 a game or close to it. I think Kemba, once he gets into a rhythm with us, he fits in so much better than Kyrie ever did in Boston.
Oh, definitely.
Like you said, we were talking about this off the camera, took a charge, kind of sparked some momentum last night.
Yep.
He does all the right things. He'll get in the lane as opposed to always trying to just pull up. Like Kyrie, even in like the end of the Indiana series, and then obviously going into the next round, he just couldn't accept that he was cold. He just kept. I mean, I know she was going to shoot, and you're the best player on the team, but like, it was like he just had tunnel vision. He was like, I'm the guy. It's either going to go through me or it's not going to happen. But fast forward a year and a half back, you had IT and the kids, and we were in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? I mean, IT was more of a team guy.
Well, that's the thing, and I think Brad Stevens is one of the rare coaches in the NBA that actually has a specific system that he wants his offense to be run at. And Kyrie, and his offense is really predicated on making that extra pass every single time. When we had Kyrie, the ball would just stop with Kyrie, dribble out the clock, and then try to
clog
something
it.
up.
Yeah,
so
clog it.
I think Kemba would buy into that system. IT obviously bought into that system. So I would agree that I think Kemba's going to be a lot better fit than Kyrie ever will be.
Boom. So so your other argument was based around Kyrie. You could have brought Anthony Davis in. Who knows if he even would have bought in. And then there's no guarantee Kyrie comes back. So I think he was basically planning for the future. You now have Brown contracted. Ideally, like I was saying, JT contract, Kemba. Let's have a year with Gordon Hayward actually fully back to his form. I think we can at least make a push this year.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make a disclosure, too. If the Celtics win it all this year, I'll take back everything, and this doesn't even count.
We'll just edit this.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go back and be like, oh, that video never happened.
Yeah, 3 edits within the same suit. It's fine.
So I don't know. I'd say B+. You said C. It's not like we're going A- and D. You know what I mean? So
yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's really like it's a good problem to have.
Right.
My whole thing is that we had a chance to, if we could have got 3 game-changing guys, like Jason Tatum will never be Anthony Davis, and Jaylen Brown will never be a Kawhi Leonard. So if we had a chance to get 2 of those once-in-a-generational talents, that we already know Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum probably aren't going to be once-in-a-generational talent like those 2 are.
Nope.
So if we had a chance to get those 2 at once, that's the reason why I gave him a C, is because we had a chance to get once-in-a-generational talents within the NBA of all time.
Yeah.
And he decided not to take that risk.
Right.
And I think it could have paid off, because if they won a championship, I would think it was very hard for them to end up leaving Boston for that.
So what did Kawhi Leonard do after this past championship with Toronto? I'm just trying to remember last season.
He went with his friend Paul George. So if we got Paul George.
Oh, so he needed a friend?
Yeah, he needs a friend.
Him and Serge Ibaka were like bros in Toronto, so I don't want to hear that. But no, I mean, I think your argument's valid, but I also think, honestly, Danny played the long game. He played the safe game.
He played the safe game.
And it's not even necessarily the safe game. It might have been the smart game in the long run. Let's say we go back. Kawhi comes in. He's just not the same. That's an issue. We trade for Anthony Davis. We get him for this 1 year. Let's say Kyrie goes to New Jersey still. That's an issue. Even if they play together, they both don't buy in. A 1 year rental, then Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown's gone. Marcus Smart was part of the conversation, another valuable asset in my opinion. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the league.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Not a good decision maker by any means, and stresses me out when he has the ball, but everything else he does right.
Yeah, just don't let him touch the ball.
Just keep it out of his hands on the offensive end.
Exactly.
It should be just a 4-person offense, and he should just stay on the defensive side of the ball.
Just stay on the other end of the
So yeah, I mean, I think that he played the safe game. I think it was a smart game. I think we need to look at the next 3 years with this young core. If we don't get a ring, then maybe he goes to a C.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
So. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's all going to be predicated on whether Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can make that next step. And if they're not, then you could make the argument that we completely blew it and we should have done it.
Yeah, no, I think this is Tatum's year. I think if Brown doesn't get there this year, it kind of blows because we did that rookie extension.
Right.
So it's then what happens? Because then he loses his trade value.
Yep.
Then you're just sitting on a guy that's like, I think you made the comparison before, like an Andre Iguodala. I picture him as I said Gerald Green. I don't think that's a fair. Maybe like a Ricky Davis, kind of like an athletic guy that can score like 15 to 20 a game, but like never gets over the peak, as they say.
Yep.
So lots Jaylen Brown, you're basically the determinant of whether or not we succeed in the next 3 years.
Absolutely, I would agree, because I think Jason Tatum's more of a we've seen what he can do when we don't have like a Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving or something like that. He's always stepped up, so I think we know what we're going to get with him. Jaylen Brown could either go one way or the other.
Right.
I think that's going to be the biggest
thing. I think JT's setting himself up to be very similar to a Paul Pierce, so he'll be loved in Boston.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown, I mean, you could be, he's got the athletic ability. If he gets to the next level, like you said, develops a jump shot, he could be a great in this league. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll do another episode in 3 years. We'll finalize this debate.
That's right.
We wanted to chat a little NFL football while we were here. We'll just briefly chat NCAA football because obviously you and I, as you were coming in, Oklahoma game was on.
Yeah.
And then also Ohio State, Wisconsin. We were both big Jalen Hurts guys.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be really good this year. He was.
Yeah. He was I think, in my opinion, like a Heisman front runner to this point because obviously Tua's out now,
which is kind of ironic considering Tua replaced Jalen Hurts. And now Jalen Hurts is killing it in Oklahoma. Until this game, at least.
So yeah, they were getting crushed by Kansas State. We turned the TV off to finish this episode, so I'm assuming Kansas State probably pulled that one out.
Yep.
Wisconsin was getting demolished by Ohio State, so Ohio State's basically stamping they're probably going to be either 2 or 3, I would think, behind Clemson and Alabama, depending on the Alabama-LSU game.
Yep.
And I'm thinking that the Kansas State game almost locks up LSU. Excuse me. Yeah, LSU and Alabama, right? Is that what we were saying?
Yeah.
I think that almost locks up LSU as minimally a 4 seed at this point.
Even if they lose in Alabama.
Even if they lose in Alabama.
I would say so too. Because usually whenever they play, because they play each other every year, and it seems like they still can both.
It's a tough conference.
Yeah, they both still have a path to get into the playoffs, even if they lose one game. Whereas a team like Oklahoma may not. They're obviously not in the SEC, so they're not going to have the luxury of losing one game because they don't have the strength of schedule.
So yeah, I'm excited to see. This is I get into college football, but this year it's been super intriguing.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see what happens there. We got 5 NFL picks, so we get a lock of a parlay. I've said this every week, and every week I think we've been 2 for 5. But Mark and I, we won't miss together.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk through 5, I guess, interesting point spreads. There's a lot of trash games this week. I think if you bet the favorite in every game, money line, you can make a lot of money this weekend. But if you're someone that likes to work off the spread, we got 5 games for you here. The first one, obviously, we're both hometowners. Pats are in Gillette against Cleveland Browns. You got Jarvis Landry's unofficial guarantee. I guess that was blown out of proportion, I was reading.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, there was a bunch of tweets that went out saying he guaranteed a win, but he was just saying they're going into Gillette to win the game.
Oh.
So it got taken out of context. So the Patriots got some fire under their bums this week. I was surprised to see the point spread was honestly this drastic, and I know you said the weather's not looking good for tomorrow. Pats are giving 10.5 points to the Browns. First thoughts there, just looking at that, Mark.
Yeah, I'm just not. I don't know. 10.5 is always a tough spread to cover, anyways, and the fact that, like I said, the weather's not going to be that good, so I think it's going to be really a ground and pound defensive battle. And I think that you could have an Odell Beckham Jr. breakout, just a quick 90-yard touchdown out of the blue or something.
That could be it.
But yeah, that could literally just be it. And I think it's going to be more of a Chubb versus Michelle kind of old teammates kind of going against each other, who can get the best of each other. But
Chubb versus Michelle sounds funny. I agree, man. That is an interesting combo. Yeah, I think this is Sony's game, as they say. A little knock on Gerald's game. We're just doing. So yeah, no, I think the Pats minus 10.5. So we haven't missed a single spread this year.
wow.
And there's been some pretty drastic ones. I think this is the one that we miss. I think Browns plus 10.5. I could see this being like a 24-17 type game, and Patriots win.
Yeah.
So I would take Browns plus 10.5 there.
Yeah, I would definitely take that too. I don't think that. I mean, Patriots always do great against young quarterbacks and everything, and I think that will still probably be the case.
Yeah.
I could even see, if the weather's really that bad, I could even see being a lower scoring game where it's like 10-7 or 14-7 type of game or something.
Wow, I like it.
I might even say 17-7. That would say.
That's fair, and you still cover.
Exactly.
I think so too. I think it will be a defensive game. Again, I could see it being a little higher of a score, but if the weather's rocky, I mean, I don't think your score is out of the question at all. So, second one, this is going to be an interesting game. The Eagles are in Buffalo. Buffalo's -2. I think Buffalo's the fakest real team in the league right now.
I would agree with that.
I don't know how legit they are. I think the Eagles, coming off a rough loss to the Cowboys last week, they got a lot of fire under their bumps. Like, this is the 1 week, this is make or break for their season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
NFC East is still wide open. They're still within 2 games, I think, of Dallas. They still have to play Dallas again. You come out, you win this game, you're right back in the mix.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And, I mean, I don't think Zach Ertz has been a big part of the offense, but I think he needs to be.
Yep.
He's on my fantasy team. That's the only reason I'm saying that. On 3 leagues. 2 leagues. Ertz, get in there, bud. So, no, I think Carson Wentz comes out hungry. I think the Eagles' D steps up a little bit. I like the Eagles' money line in this game.
I like it too. I was thinking the same exact thing without knowing what you were going to say. I was going to say the same exact thing where I don't think exactly. Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think the Bills are legit. I think that if they win this game, I think it'll convince me a little more, but I have never been really a Josh Allen fan.
Yeah.
And their offense just doesn't wow me, and if they're going to be predicated on just defense, I don't think they're going to be able to win in a shootout like the Eagles could potentially provide them too.
I definitely agree. And they don't even really have a number 1 running back. You got Singletary back now, the kid, and then Frankie Gore, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's kind of an interesting situation. It's not a bad situation to have, but when you don't have a clear-cut number 1, it kind of makes things a little bit awkward too, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I will say though, if the Bills do win this, I think they'll win over a few people, and I think it'll get me a little closer to believing them. But it still probably won't push me over the top to think they're a legit playoff contending team.
If the Bills win this, they're a lock for the top wild card seed. If they lose this, I could see them even nosediving out of the playoffs. Yep. So we'll see what happens. The Eagles win this, I think they make some noise. So, and they've done that the last few years. So next one. And I'm curious to see your take on this one. The Giants are at the Lions. Detroit's giving the New York Giants 6.5 points.
Yeah, this is tough because I don't really like either team. I've never been a big Lions fan. I know Patricia is a former Patriots guy, but I've just never been a huge Lion. I don't know. Their defense has not wowed me or anything. They have decent weapons, but I kind of like the Giants. I think I will take the Giants. Getting the 6.5 point spread too.
Dude, we're feeling it together. I love the Giants plus 6.5 here. I have no confidence in the Lions. They just traded one of their defensive captains at the deadline. I forget his name now because I'm pregnancy brain. But it was like an outrage in the locker room. The Giants, I know we got Eli Manning, stunt devil in there, Daniel Jones. He looks just like him. It's so weird.
He really does.
Plays just like him too. Stinks. But I think they're good enough to stay within a touchdown of the Giants. I think this is a close game. The Lions potentially pull it out. I can't even say that confidently, but I don't think it's more than a score. So
yeah, especially with Barkley back, I think Daniel Jones brings an extra level of excitement and kind of another dimension to that team because he can throw a deep ball a little better than Eli.
Right.
So I think they're going to be better this year than they were last year just because Daniel Jones is an upgrade from Eli, but
yeah, and I think the Detroit fans are kind of out of it at this point, so Ford Field's not really going to give you a huge home field advantage. Right. So yeah, exactly. So no, that's definitely. I think we're 3 for 3 on agreeing, so this could be good. I'm going to bet this parlay after we're done. Next one, Panthers at 49ers. So this game is intriguing to me. Obviously, the Panthers stunk when Cam Newton was at the realm. They've been 4-0 since. The 49ers, arguably the surprise of the year. I think we all kind of expected this last season, and it just never happened. Jimmy G's the real deal. That being said, I think they're due for a loss. I don't know if it's going to happen this week, though. So my just first thought, looking at this line, I felt like 5.5 wasn't enough. So instead, I'm going to take the 5.5, and I'm going to take Carolina plus 5.5. I feel like this game's kind of like a mind trip.
This is tough because Newton's still not playing, right? So he's still going to be out, correct?
Yeah, still Newton's out.
Newton's still out. So how he's going to do against an elite defense like the 49ers? I mean, this is probably the toughest one for me. This is tough. I'm kind of inclined to go towards the 49ers, though. They just got Emmanuel Sanders.
I know.
Wide receiver. So
yeah, he's starting. Devonta Adams plays instead of Gallup. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think they'll get another extra juice, extra kick from having Emmanuel Sanders in the lineup, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how involved he is because he's so new to the team.
Yeah,
But
I hope he gets some
I mean,
touches.
I don't know. I've ever since Newton got out, I've always been kind of down on the Panthers, but they've kept proving me wrong because the backup has been so good this year.
I think your thought process is backwards. Yeah, and I'm with you.
Yeah.
I just same with the Saints. I've had no confidence in Teddy Bridgewater. He's crushing it. I don't even know if they're better off with Drew Brees coming back this weekend because they're talking about both of them will be ready to go. I think you go Brees obviously for the stretch run, but don't rush him. They're awesome. Jacoby Brissett, I haven't given him enough good faith, and he's awesome. So I don't accept change well. So I agree. I drafted Newton in one out of my 3 leagues, and he stunk for me the first few weeks, and they haven't lost since. So I should be overjoyed because I got a good quarterback on the waiver wire. But I'm going to take the plus 5.5. We'll see what happens.
I'm taking the 49ers.
Minus 5.5.
Yep.
All right. I like it, Mark. $10.
$10?
Better game?
All right.
I like it. When available, I like to try to get a disagreeing bet in. So we both got Venmo. Don't worry, people. The last one, and arguably going to be the most interesting storyline of the weekend, I guess, depending on Patrick Mahomes. He's been practicing all week. He's looking, I guess, ready, but I don't think he should be rushed back at the same time. You got Packers at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting 4.5 points. How do you dissect that?
So I'll preface this by assuming that Mahomes isn't going to play.
Okay.
Because I'm sure that's what the line's probably based off of as well, is that Mahomes is going to play.
Oh, most definitely.
So with that in mind, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this Chief offense is without Mahomes, because I don't know how explosive Tyreek Hill will be without Pat Mahomes.
Is it Matt Moore that's their backup? Yeah.
Moore.
Moore never did anything in Miami. But anyways, go ahead.
He needs to do more.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I was just thinking out loud.
Anyway, so I think based off of that, I think I'm going to go Packers with the minus 4.5 on that one.
Okay. I'll agree with your preface. So this is if Mahomes doesn't start. So I think he might squeak in there, and it might be right now before the news comes out, a good grab at Chiefs plus 4.5, because if Mahomes starts, that line I think goes minus 1.5 Chiefs. Yep. So it might be a good grab today, and then worst case you're getting close to 5 points with a team that's, outside of defensively, is pretty well rounded.
Yeah.
But I agree. If Mahomes doesn't start, I think Aaron Rodgers is looking really good. Devonta Adams is out yet again, which kind of screwing me over this year. But still, Valdez-Scantling proved himself last weekend. I wasn't even thinking he was going to start because he got banged up that game before.
Okay.
Still looked great. Is it Jimmy Graham getting involved now? Our boy Jimmy G?
He's still not doing anything.
He scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, but he's only touchdown dependent, and it's so frustrating because you would think that's how dominant he was with New Orleans.
I know.
It's the most frustrating.
Baby steps.
Aaron
Mark.
Rodgers is not like tight ends.
Baby steps. But yeah, no, I agree. And then Aaron Jones, we need a big week out of you for my teams. I have him in 2 leagues. So this is all fantasy dependent. I'm very much a hometowner.
Yep.
But no, I think the Packers, if Mahomes doesn't start, I think they win by 10. I could see this being like a 34-23 type game.
Yep.
I think the over looks good here. I think it was in the high 40s.
Really?
Yeah, which is pretty low, I think, because especially it's a good grab now because if Mahomes comes back, that skyrockets too.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, I like Packers minus 4.5 too. So I know we were in agreement. Pats minus 10.5 safe. Eagles money line, take a chance there. The Bills haven't proven anything. We got Giants plus 6.5. The Lions stink. I got the Panthers plus 5.5. Mark's got the 49ers minus 5.5. $10. It's going to be a big bet. And then last but not least, we both like the Packers minus 4.5. But at the same time, go get a bet in for the Chiefs plus 4.5 today, because we'll see what happens over the weekend. So I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet that. I'm going to bet what we're going with.
Parlay. Yep.
I'm going to leave out the Panthers 49ers because that is an iffy game, like you were saying.
Agree. Yeah, it could literally go either way.
Yep.
I don't feel good about my pick. I wouldn't bet on it, but
we did. We bet on it.
Damn it, you're right. All right.
When I'm right, I'm right.
I would bet big money on it.
Okay, there we go.
I would put it in a parlay.
I agree. So that's it for football. We're gonna wrap. We're gonna just kind of take a few last sips here. Okay. So we'll see. This has been a great beer. So thank you for bringing this. Again, this is Naughty Nurse IPA, City Steam Brewery out of Hartford, Connecticut, right in the heart of the Heartland. So we're gonna score it. So I'll let you lead because you're the guest and you brought the beer.
Ooh,
so.
you have me set it up.
Yeah, we're doing out of 10. Round numbers are discouraged if you run into one, so whatever you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a nice oaky afterbirth. It's nice.
I can taste it was definitely in an oak barrel.
Anyway, so I like the hops. It's nice, like you said, it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but still a kick.
Yep.
I think I'm going to go with a 7.69. Shout out to Gronk for the 0.69.
We love it. We love that in this house. I just want to shout out as well, last week I made a point to Adam that the beer was still frothy at the end, and that means that it's a hoppy beer, and it also means that it's a good beer. So this beer, it's living up to the Treehouse Brewing Company standards. So Mark brought a good one. 7.69, I think that's super fair and pretty damn spot on. I gave the Autumn Ale last week a 8.8, I want to say, or it might have been 8.9. I don't know if you remember, just off the top. It was in there. So high 8s is a really good beer. I think this is like a 7.9, so about one step down, but still in the quality beer department. Definitely a good IPA if you like IPAs. I think if you're even looking more like niche, like IPA, like a mid-8 maybe.
Yeah, I would say so.
Really good flavor, but overall I think 7.9, 7.69. Shout out Rob Gronk. I think that's a fair score, and go Patriots this weekend.
That's right.
We need this W, boys. No, we really don't. I think we've locked up that 1 seed.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Even with Josh Gordon, we don't need him. He can go smoke all the weed he wants.
Big pot smoker.